Good morning. Welcome to the January 23rd edition of Advisory Live. We're powered by Nasdaq IR Insight, and I'm your host, Will Briganti. And joining me today is Michael Spector. Michael is a senior analyst with Nasdaq Advisory Services covering the real estate investment trusts. Michael, it's good to have you back on. Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
I know
it's good to be
the end
here.
of January, but let's talk about REITs. So how have they performed so far in 2018?
Not well. So around December 19th, we saw, if you look at the US MSCI REIT index, we saw the US MSCI REIT index hit a top around December 19th, and they're down about 7% since then. I think a lot of it plays to, one, all the yield back up, and two, just a risk-on theme in the broad. I think there's a lot of euphoria in the broader markets, and REITs, as you know, as an income investment or a safety play, and there's really no reason for a flock into safety when the S&P 500 returned like 20% last year. Mm-hmm. So REITs have been underperforming the broader markets.
So kind of along that theme, are there certain property types or segments that are performing better than others?
Sure. Whenever you hear the REITs, those are real estate owners that benefit from increased internet consumption, data consumption. So tower REITs, industrial REITs, anybody who does warehousing or fulfillment centers for e-commerce. And data center REITs. Right. I think tower REITs returned like 35% last year. Industrial REITs returned about 21%, and data center REITs returned about 30% last year. And they have the value kicker. You know, the average yield is around 4% for data centers, 4.5% for towers, and industrial is right up there with them. So it's a compelling investment.
Sure. Final question. What are you seeing in terms of an investor perspective? What should IROs be kind of paying attention to?
I would just, I think the main theme has been the REIT dedicated communities rotation from property sector to property sector. Last year, they kind of cooled off on the traditional property sectors, which goes to the theme we just talked about. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of concentration on these E-REITs. You know, we talked about the Cohen and Steers, the Invesco, these large REIT dedicated investors. A lot of focus on those spaces. I think some of that capital stack is starting to come back to traditional property sectors, especially ones that are trading at a significant discount. Yeah. A lot of the industrial REITs especially the industrial REITs have become a little bit, I'm going to say, fairly valued to overvalued. So I think a lot of that REIT dedicated capital is going to start to come back to apartments and retail, storage, hotels. I think some of the other, last time we talked about M&A and activism. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's going to be a hot theme still for 2018. Bloomberg put out a report yesterday that the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan is in preliminary talks with Macerich to take them private. Okay. So obviously we had the Brookfield GGP news, and now we have that. So I think that's going to be a hot topic, and just an increased move to passive management. Okay.
So a lot of themes to consider.
A lot of themes to consider. Yeah, the largest REIT ETFs, the Vanguard REIT Index Fund, ticker VNQ, it's about $40 billion in capital. It's about 5%, I would say, the sector's capital base. Okay. There were changes proposed to that fund, which actually passed to change the benchmark index, and the index is now going to include REITs that weren't included in the US MSCI REIT index before, which includes some of the towers, billboard operators, diversified specialty REITs that aren't lumped in that traditional REIT category. I think that's going to be an interesting theme. It might attract more retail investment when they see some of the returns that some of the guys that were left out of the index are now posting. So.
Right. Well, Michael, we'll leave it there for today.
Sure.
We'll look to have you back on once the earnings season gets going.
It'll be good about to start off, yeah.
It'll be good to see what's happening.
Sure.
So thank you very much for breaking it down for us.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Michael Spector, Real Estate Investment Trust Senior Analyst at Nasdaq Advisory Services. For more information on all of Nasdaq's IR solutions, be sure to visit our website. That's business.nasdaq.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Have a good day. Thanks, Michael.